These are the stories of the lost souls. 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 Tears are streaming down the cheeks of children. Cries of banshees wailing. Stories are passed down from generation to generation. These are the stories of the lost souls. These are the stories of the lost souls. These are the stories of the lost souls. These are the stories of the lost souls.
They scream to me.
They scream.
They cry to me.
They cry.
They yell to me.
They yell.
They shout to me.
They shout. These are the stories of the lost souls. These are the stories of the lost souls. These are the stories of the lost souls. These are the stories of the lost souls.
Iton achai ta'a em janiavu. My greeting to you in Yoeme. 174 years ago, the Choctaw Nation sent $170, approximately 5,000 today, to the Irish people to help them during the Great Hunger. The people of Ireland, not the government, the people, returned that generosity by raising millions to help save 2 native tribes in Arizona during the pandemic. In some places, those communities did not even have running water.
Trail of Tears.
On O'Chrismore.
Big.
Lacrosse is a sport that was created by the Iroquois, a Native American people. It is a game that is played all over the world in international competition, but the Iroquois were not permitted to play their own traditional sport. In 2019, they were fighting to represent themselves in the international games, but the International Lacrosse Federation would not permit them to.
You could choose to play on the Canadian team.
Choose an existing team. You people are also part of the US. Choose that team.
I don't get the big deal. You'll still be able to participate.
See, the Iroquois experience is the northern version of we didn't cross the border crossed us. In the southern border of the United States, where I'm from, the Yaqui, the Autumn, and the Apache nations are on both sides of someone else's border. So the Iroquois, part of the nation, is on Canada's border, and the others are in the United States. So the Iroquois said, no, we are going to represent ourselves as a sovereign nation to play our traditional sport.
It has been decided. No.
It's been decided.
The Iroquois are still insisting.
Finally, the International Lacrosse Federation gave in and said, okay, you can represent yourselves, but, oh well, there are no spots left.
All other positions have been taken by all other countries.
Ireland gave up their spot so that the Iroquois could play their traditional sport.
We have other things in common.
Similarities.
I am Sarah, Shane, Maia, and Bryan. I am Shannon, Raphaël, Tom, Conor, Martin, and Beau. I am you, and I have a story for you. I've always had a kind of playful energy, love trampolines, this lifting up, and this light energy. And I do have a little bit of a
All amazing human beings.
background. But I felt kind of constricted by the techniques of,
Badly treated by invading people.
I think part of it is a response to certain
Rich musical traditions.
that I've had. And for years it was quite an artifice, but I've learned to kind of dispel that,
Storytelling.
because at the end of the day, aren't all artists kind of crazy? I do remember seeing the film, I think it's called
Oppression.
The Dramatized.
Hunger.
And as a child, it was my first experience of like, oh, Ireland can be a traumatic place too. Because I went to a school that had quite a nationalist, we love Ireland vibe about it. But there would be an awareness always in the family of,
Displacement.
and my dad, fanatically so, like such a good memory. My mother's side, more through a political.
Both were treated badly by colonists.
Back when my father and my aunties and my two uncles were growing up, they grew up in.
Nature.
I don't think my father was even 10 years old when he had.
Rivers.
I really associate my dad with Irishness. I remember sometimes there were.
They have their own cultures.
In the field, and my dad would be like, if they come running at you, just go and zigzag. But I was like, okay, it's one thing to hear it. I don't know if I want to put it into practice, but it just seems so.
Their land was taken from them.
It's like, okay, we are safe. We have a way out in case they come running at us. There are other experiences we have in common with the Irish. When I first arrived here in August, I found a tiny pub in Uachtaráin. The owner was lovely.
What are you having?
I'll try your pizza with tomato.
Tomato.
Ouch. Tomato?
Don't take offense. He's only messing with you.
Okay, thanks. How old is this place?
The exact age, I don't know. You're interested in history?
I am.
I found this in the renovations. This old map shows what this pub looked like and the town about 100 years in the past. Most of those places are long gone now, but the pub is here, and up here is the industrial school. Sorry, your man's order is ready.
Industrial school. That shook me a bit. I had recently written a play about the industrial schools in America where Native children were stolen from their families and held captive. There are children's graveyards next to every one of those deadly places. Can you tell me more about the industrial school on your map?
That one is Letterfrack. It was a terrible place.
A friend was taken there.
He was just a boy, like all the others.
Why don't you go see the graveyard?
It's up in Connemara.
Those wee lads were abused in every way.
They made money off him.
Worked some of them to death.
A shameful part of the church's history.
And the worst part about it, it was government supported.
It's great they shut those awful places down.
I should go pay my respects.
It's not far. Just put Letterfrack Graveyard in your sat-nav.
Evening. I'm good to go. So, what can you tell me about industrial schools?
Did no good to children.
Child labour.
There are some green things.
No, I'm sorry, you misunderstand. Industrial schools.
They were set up by the government.
Haven't an ocean.
Okay, and didn't you saw the map, didn't you?
Very little.
Children treated like criminals.
You do know what they did to those boys in those schools?
They seemed ominous.
Children from poor backgrounds.
And do you know how many of them died in those schools?
Not a clue.
Abused physically.
What do you actually know?
They were Catholic institutions.
When I was 13, we were in the dormitory. It was freezing in the winter, and the only heat we had came from a small wood-burning stove in the far corner under the windows. We laid in our beds from the oldest to the youngest, with the youngest being the farthest away from the small stove. You know, seniority. We would crouch over the little stove 2 or 3 at a time with our bedding around us. That way we could warm ourselves and our bedding. We would go back to our beds and wake up the other 2 so that they could get warm too. It's how we got to sleep without freezing to death. I used to like to trace deer in the frost on the windows for the other boys to see. I was good at drawing. Yeah, I was. They always asked why it was deer. I didn't know. Now I do. We used to catch fire standing so close to the small stove and our bedding around us. We would just put it out like it was nothing. I stopped drawing deer after the night with the smallest kid. He was the farthest away from the stove, and it was the coldest there. I tried to wake that little kid up because he was freezing. I shoved him and he didn't move. We woke up the oldest boys and they came over and poked at him, but he still didn't get up. He was freezing, so we started trying to warm him by rubbing his arms and piling our bedding on him. His eyes were open. He froze to death because we didn't wake him up in time. The other small boy was his friend. He started screaming and screaming. But you couldn't hear him because there was no sound coming out. It was a horrible thing to watch. The oldest gave us our blankets back. And then they ripped the blankets around the frozen kid. I never drew those deer again. It seemed disrespectful to the littlest one who liked to see them and never would again.
At the entrance to the Letterfrack Cemetery, where the children are buried, people leave offerings of grief. Poems such as Paul Meehan's The Boy from the Gloucester Diamond. What did we know of bogs? Their beauty, the names of their flowers, their wild skies. We cursed those clawed black-robed men who swept the four winds and the four known seasons out heaven's door, down on us below. They were beyond all sense, all reason. By an unmarked grave, we knelt and wept, spoke of his head of curls, his green eyes, his broken back, his small hands empty.
Mary, this child was 6 years old.
This was once a school. There are so many graves.
Same as the Native American industrial schools back home.
I'm sorry.
Why? What?
Oh, no, not you. Sorry, that poor child.
I'm sorry too. This should never have happened to you. It was wrong and you were perfect.
Oh God, I'm so sorry. It's from the ghost hour. Back when we were in the Abbey.
Well, what does it say?
It just says one word. Tell.
Yes, if you want me to tell about what happened to you here, I will. You deserve for people to know. As I stood at the top of the cemetery, speaking to the children, I felt the small fingers of a child start to hold my hand. I was so startled I yanked my hand away and looked down to see no one. I regret my reaction to this day, but I'm keeping my promise to tell.
Find a spot and get one of the older lads to show you how to use the tools.
Don't. The art place.
Try not to saw your hands off, clown boy.
What? Be still.
We have a deadline for this inventory, Slopes. Work fast.
Can I make one of those?
Brush this against the chair leg until it's smooth.
Will I get to use these tools?
Not yet.
Oh,
You have to listen and learn. If you don't, you won't last.
I'll listen to you, older lad.
Not me. Then. Stop following me. I can't help you.
Okay. You're not my friend.
You can't have friends. We just have to make it until they let us go back home.
No one will tell me where the mountains are. They hit my ears if I ask.
Well, stop asking them stupid questions. Do you like having your ears boxed?
Listen.
No. I have to see the mountains. It's flat everywhere. Empty.
This mountain's where you come from too?
I come from Yaqui.
You don't ever listen. You can't say that. What is that?
Oh, no. It's supposed to be secret.
I don't know what that is or how you were able to keep it, but you need to get rid of it.
Savages.
It's my father's spirit. He watches over me.
We're not savages anymore. Jesus is the spirit that watches us here.
Lord, hear us.
Take this one.
I know about Jesus. You are my friend.
I'll keep Father's spirit in a safe place for you. You can't carry those around or ever talk about them to teachers. We'll find them and box your ears.
Lock in the basement.
Grandfather said to keep them close and not let them go.
I have a grandfather. He's not Christian. But you and me, we're Christians now.
Christians, Lord, hear us.
Still have demon Conor back. Gypsy scum! Still trying to corrupt the little kids with your witchcraft. Still a savage!
I believe it was more than coincidence that my first visit here led me to that particular pub to learn about industrial schools. I'm grateful to the spirits who guided me there. And have a musical break. If you know any of the songs, we'd love for you to sing along. If you have an idea for a song that we can all sing along to, please shout that out as well. Thank you.
Who's going to start us off?
We can start.
Do it.
Go on.
So fill to me the parting glass and drink a health whate'er befalls. Then gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. So fill to me the parting glass and drink a health whate'er befalls. So gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be to you all. Go on, does someone have something upbeat?
Long
Off the top of their head.
Kind of, sorta. So I have a little something that I've prepared on a whim. And just to say, none of these people knew about it in advance, so I apologize for what's about to happen. So this is a little something. Oh God, I'm actually. Okay, so if you guys could give me a bit of a beat, so just right. Severing my bonds and I still feel fit, and there's only so much our pedagogies predict. Oblivious to confidence, stripped down again. Looks like the switchback has no fucking in it. When I turn my gaze at the sun of despair, and I'm able to glue and gone duckers of care. Form name of Claude, bunch of crazy fuckers living life
back to the foot. Eat your filler. It doesn't mean a damn if you tyrannize or compromise. We'll spring from your cage, backstage, and engage. So from the desk to Tucson, a Tipperary, I know damn well I'm gonna miss you guys dearly.
Sorry, we did not know that was I have a song in the Autumn language, which is a sovereign nation near where our people are from. And I can sing it in Autumn, and then maybe Bryan, you could sing it in English so people know it.
I will try.
Idnapot no chuiga kunyapse hasele. Wanje cha ukita was a one inchke. Hit masuki yapamo chuk shan ed. Idnapot no chuiga kunyapse hasele.
The land of my people, the land that I love. From the mountains to the valley, this land is my home. I was born and I'll die here, my beloved Tucson. Land of my people, the land that I love.
So we have one in Irish.
Yes. I go on.
Shoo, 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 la, boom. Sugar sucker on the sugar cube. Sugar does dog is sailing long. He's scudging to a warning slide.
Would any of our invited folks have any songs?
I feel like you might
to
have
share?
a song in you. I don't know why. This is
I don't know. I mean, the song that came to my mind was actually a kid's song.
Perfect.
And it's very simple.
Perfect.
Perfect for me.
We get together. The more we get together, the happier we'll be. Oh, I don't know. It's the songs played in my head over and over. We had children who they would listen to these songs constantly. So it gets burnt into your brain.
Any others? Do you have them?
I do not.
Andy, Jess.
Oh God.
No is a
It's okay if you just. No, it's good.
I just don't know it's appropriate because I know the song.
It's okay, I can lead us in one. We can all do it. Okay.
Yeah. Sounds good.
So I can sing the chorus one way through, and then we can do like a call and response thing, and everyone can be involved. Okay. Everyone. Why should I not love my love? Why shouldn't my love love me? Why should I not speed after her? Since love to all is free. And I can do call and response. So I'll do the first line again. Why should I not love my love? Why should I not love my love? Why shouldn't my love love me? Why shouldn't my love love me? Why should I not speed after her?
you're up.
Am I? Well, but since you're insisting. And we watched.
What did we watch?
Time go by. Well, I told her, ask me anything. She asked me how to cry. And when I think of you, I know forever I will be happy as the fool, because together we are free. Thank you.
We'll wrap it up with a rousing number.
What do you have in mind?
Everyone knows Wild Rover. Enough people know Wild Rover. You'll catch up.
Well, I've been a Wild Rover for many a year, and I spent all my money on whiskey and beer. Now I return with golden great sword, and I never will play the Wild Rover no more, and it's no, nay, never. No, nay, never, no more. Shall I play the Wild Rover? No, never, no more.
And one more time, it's...
No, they never, no more. Shall I play the Wild Rover? No, never, no more.
Shall we move to my favorite realm? I love exploring the world of elemental spirits. You're about to be treated to a scene by Irish playwright Holly Minogue. Her Stagman reminds me of a story my aunt told me as a child about a legend near where I live named La Llorona. And La Llorona means crying lady, or the crybaby, the crying lady in Spanish. And she apparently was a young woman who lived in a nearby village. She was very beautiful and a little unstable. So one day, this handsome stranger came into town. She fell madly in love with him, had 2 children, and then he disappeared. Just took off because he was a wanderer. She was so angry, so enraged, that to get revenge, she took her 2 children and drowned them in the Gila River. And then when she had a moment of lucidity, she realized what she had done and had so much remorse that she threw herself into the river and drowned. Well, because she had committed such a heinous act, she was doomed to walk the earth as one of the undead. And half of her is rotting, and that's the side that cries for her children. The other half is still perfectly beautiful and smiles an evil smile. So here's a story my aunt told me about her cousin who saw La Llorona. So one day he was working, he worked really hard. He was out in the hot sun in Gila Bend, Arizona, this tiny little town in the middle of the Arizona desert. And some days the temperature can get up to 115 to 120 Fahrenheit.
Which is about 4850 Celsius.
Jesus, we'd melt in that.
Yeah. So it's super hot, and he was working really hard. And it's a Friday, and he goes home, and his friends all want to go out. So he goes out and he parties, and he's exhausted. So he comes home and just passes out. Well, at 1:30 in the morning, he gets a phone call, and it's from his mother. And she says, "Mijo, you have to come home right now. Your grandmother has passed away." So of course, as you do, when your mother calls, you go. So he gets in his car, absolutely exhausted, and starts driving this 100 miles from Gila Bend, Arizona to Ajo, Arizona, which is where my family is from, and there's nothing there. You're lucky if you see a telephone pole. Now it's a full moon, and he has his brights on to try to stay awake, but there's not even another car passing him. There's just nothing. Well, after a while, he starts to hear the sound of somebody crying in the desert. And he thinks, this is weird. No one is out in this desert at this time of night at all. So somebody must need help. So he starts listening in carefully, and he's still hearing it. Feels like he drove past where it should be. And then he realizes, oh, it's the coyotes. It's the coyotes making that sound of babies crying like they do. So he thought, oh, it's just the coyotes. They kept driving. His head is nodding, hitting the steering wheel. That's what's waking him up. And at one point, he looked up, and there's a figure up ahead in the road. And it's a figure of a woman. And he thinks, oh, that's where the crying is coming from. What is she doing in the middle of the road, in the middle of the desert? She needs my help. So he thinks, I'll get up to her and I'll help her. And as he gets even closer, he realizes she's not standing in the road. She's hovering about 3 feet above it. And as he gets even closer, he sees that half of her is rotting, and the other half is beautiful and smiling an evil smile. And he thinks, that's La Llorona. But there's no such thing as La Llorona. So I'm hallucinating because I'm tired. The sun got to my head. And what I'm going to do is slap my face, crank the music, and I am just going to shut my eyes really tight. I'm going to drive past where I see it, and when I open my eyes, I'll be past it, it'll be gone, my brain will be right. So he does that. He closes his eyes really tight, jams his foot down on the accelerator, and bam, he hits her. And that's when he realizes the hallucination was that she looked like La Llorona, but it was a real woman that needed his help, and now he's hit her. So he slows down to turn around to help her, and he looks in the rearview mirror to see if she's lying dead in the road, and she's sitting in the back seat. On that note, we want to thank our beautiful... Now here is Holly Minogue's story about a creature doomed to walk the earth for eternity.
The minstrel boy to the war has gone. In the ranks of death you will find him. His father's sword he hath girded on, and his wild harp slung behind him.
It is that ritual time of year. Townspeople carve turnips and carry them with lit wicks through the thicket of the forest's edge. It's just before the first frost lays waste to the mushroom season. Poor hunting weather. Then again, could be worse. Deer tiptoe on a patchwork of decaying autumnal foliage.
Kevin! If you don't sit down, I'm going to give you the biggest kick in the teeth that you've ever received.
Like the donkey you are, huh?
Kevin, what's the first rule of using a gun?
Sorry, Francis. Now, Patrick, do you remember what you're doing tomorrow? Oh, go on, what's the first rule of using a gun?
Treat every gun as if she were loaded. Never pointed anything, did not believe it was given.
What are you going to do when you see her then, Patrick?
Keep her steady. Aim for the high shoulder. Straight through the lungs and heart.
Well, if it was me, I'd go straight for the knees. It gets the blood pumping.
You're awful cruel, so you are, Dermot.
What? You don't be complaining once you're stuffing your face now, do you, Killian?
This isn't like target shooting, Patrick. This is for real. You'll feel different after it. I mean, you won't feel like the same person again.
Yeah, you'll feel like a man.
You'll be a man then, Patrick.
Kevin, if you can't speak from your own head, would not just shut your big dirty gob altogether?
Oh, feck off, Dermot.
Oh, I'll give you feck off. I'll give you feck off from the last time you feck anything. You should respect your elders.
Maybe I'd respect you like one if you acted like one.
Hey. Patrick, it's not a rifle you'll be shooting this time. It's a shotgun, and at close range too.
Your ears won't be the same after that either.
That's true, Patrick. 'Tis fierce harsh on the ears. 'Tis like getting a good poke in the shoulder, too.
She passed a farewell to right. Do you know what happens next?
What do you mean what happens next? Sure, isn't the poor animal not dead?
It could run 100 yards or drop right there then in front of you. It's hard to tell with it. Patrick, you know that once you kill something, you can never bring it back to life. Not ever.
Yeah, that's what I'd be telling this clown over here.
I may be a clown, but I'm still a better shot than you. And you've got 3 years on me.
Easy! Now, the pair of ye, or one or both of ye, is going to be left here and have to find your own way back in the morning. There is an empty gambrel waiting in the kitchen, and the women are waiting on us as well. So you can either man up or go home.
Yes, Francis.
Enough!
The temperature and tone drop in concert, as is the way of the natural world. Isn't it always the way? Stoke the embers of the fire with a crooked stick, and up they go, higher and higher. The stoker, too, is surprised.
Francis, tell Patrick the story about the fiddler and the funeral.
Oh, Killian can tell that one a lot better than I can, Kevin.
Ara, that's not true. But I'll tell it, because I know you must be sick of telling it. There was once a young man who received the unfortunate news that his father had died. On his return into his hometown, he heard the most beautiful music coming from up over a high stone wall. He climbed up onto the wall, and there he saw a lanky man with a pointed beard dressed in a dark suit.
Come in here to me and I will play for you,
said the bearded man. Thank you for your warm invitation, replied the young man, but I have somewhere very important I have to be.
Oh, no, please, come in and sit beside me and I will play for you. Then you can be on your way.
So the young man sat and listened to the most skillful melodies he had ever heard. When the fiddler finished playing, the young man was in awe. I have traveled the length and breadth of this island and never have I heard music as sweet.
Let me play for you some more.
The sky. Is it different? Is there a storm coming? The fiddler smiled in such a way that it made the young man uneasy.
No, I don't believe there is. Now, I thank you very kindly for accepting my invitation, but I must be on my way. There's somewhere very important I have to be.
The young man stood alone and confused. He ran to the church, it being his own father's burial, but the church was empty. He ran to the graveyard, but his father's plot had been covered up. The sky was black as night. It was then he realized 'twas the devil himself who had distracted him. So now, let ye never let the devil distract ye from your duties.
Fair play to you, Killian. You tell it with skill.
I only try to tell it the way you tell it is all.
Did you know that's how we passed our history down to each other? By stories. It's what the old druids of Ireland used to do. That's why storytelling is in our blood. Do you want to give it a go, Dermot?
Sure, may as well. Let me think. Lee once told me a story about her father, and that he used to live in, what would you call it? A haunted house? Maybe a mansion? I don't know. But there was definitely some horror elements to it. Because before her grandfather moved in, there was a story that whoever the last person that lived there passed away while sitting on some sort of bench. And she was telling me that when someone dies sitting and they're not laying, they can never truly find peace. So his spirit apparently lingers on in that house. I don't know whether or not they got rid of the spirit or did anything about it. But the fact that it could be still out there keeps me up at night.
What about you, Kevin? Do you have one?
Yeah, I've got a story. My friend Andrew told me this story earlier about a place in Dublin called The Factory, and they have a lot of different theatre things going on here, and plays and performances, and casting directors come. And they were doing this show there, and they had used this kind of the underground part of the building, and they had gone in there to kind of get ready for the day. Now, there was a possible story about that there was someone who had died down there while it was a mill, while it was a factory, before it had the arts in there. And so there was believed to be a ghost down there, but nobody really knew. So when they were practicing for this play, and they were all downstairs and they were getting ready, they heard some weird things and saw some things moved. But when they all came back upstairs, one of the women noticed that everyone had these little scratches on them. And so Andrew and his friend, they went down. They were like, oh, we'll see what's going on down there. And they end up seeing this figure, and it just whispers to them, get out. And then they went back upstairs, and they realized they had scratches all over their arms and all over their backs. And then Dermot woke up, and he was so scared, he pissed the bed.
You're one filthy little Ammonite, you know that?
Oh.
And if Francis wasn't here, I would have already kicked 7 shades of shine out of you already. You know, it is true what Aunt Peggy does be telling Mammy, that she doesn't love you, and then she wishes she never had you. Sure, didn't Aunt Betty not drop you when you were only a baby? And that's the reason why you were never right since.
Dermot, that's too harsh. But Kevin, you do yourself no favours either.
I only be messing, but he's a bad egg, Francis. He's a green, rotten, slimy one that you might break open in a pan by accident, and it destroys the place in a stink. Everyone knows it about him. Mommy's always said it about him. There's badness in that one.
Kevin, that's dirty now.
And the way he goes on. And him so spoiled with Uncle David taking him off every summer. And now he's so ungrateful he won't even go with him.
You don't know the half of it about Uncle David, Kevin. Uncle David is not a good man. And Dermot has been to hell and back, and you wouldn't say a bad word against him if you knew. So say no more about it and leave it at that, because you're too young to know.
I'm old enough to know he's spoiled.
Leave it now, Kevin, and let that be the end of it, right?
Well, have you any stories we haven't heard?
Or I do, but I don't know if now is the best time and place for them. Don't want to scare you out of your wits altogether.
Surely if we're old enough for the hunt, we're old enough for stories.
Well, there's a saying, Scailga, Threishlí na Graina tá far an Dav ag festa. In English you could say, past owl's light, stag man's delight.
Far on dove.
Go on, Francis.
Alright, so. In a time long before our great-grandfather's time, there was an old man who used to roam these forests to do unspeakable deeds.
What kind of unspeakable deeds?
Sure, how could he tell you if they're unspeakable?
Didn't they trace the crimes then back to the old man's house? Only what did they find but a feeble old man who seemed unable to commit such heinous acts. But didn't the old man have a son? And he found a way to put the blame on him for all of these terrible deeds. The son was treated horribly. The old man only kept him alive for the running of the house. So the townspeople decided that they would hang him up on the scaffold above the town, even though it was the wrong man.
He was hung.
They were afraid of making a river demon out of him, so they didn't throw the body in the Shannon, and the same with the forest. So it was decided that they would burn the body on the outskirts of the town. Only when they opened the coffin, the body had disappeared. 'Twas said the old man had taken his son's body and conjured the devil. He made a deal with him then that he'd be a young man forever by using his son's body as an offering. But the devil did one better on him and said, I'll let you live for all eternity if you become my demon.
And did he live forever?
Aye. And he's been stalking these woods for at least 800 years, committing horrible acts. But the devil is a tricker, and he never does a fair deal. So didn't he give the evil old man a pair of giant big antlers, so he'd have to roam the forest for all eternity? It said he was a figure so terrifying that even the sight of him would rattle your bones.
Is it this town and this forest he's supposed to be in?
'Tis, Killian.
So he could come out of those trees and take any one of us.
He says he likes ones who are rotten to the core. Evil likes to keep its own company, you see.
Killian, I stole a Peggy's leg off you the other day.
You snipey bollocks! I was saving that and all! I hope the stagman comes and flitters you.
You'd have to do something a lot worse than that, Kevin. He likes the ones who are weak-willed and...
Why would you do that, Dermot?
Now we'll see who's pissing the bed tonight, huh?
Dermot, you've gone too far. You'll have no luck, for the love of God. Killian, take him to the hut. He's half shook.
And let that be a lesson to him. The wire little fucking rodents!
Dermot, I expect better of you, because I think better of you. I only wish you thought as much of yourself.
The spirit world is as inseparable to our own as a shadow to a dancer. It is riddled with doors, gateways our eyes will not allow us to see. Most are harmless.
Francis, look.
What?
What do you mean, what? Can you not see? What's standing right there is clear to you and I.
You never let up, Dermot.
What do you mean, let up? Look! Look at him right there, with the blood-red demon gaze and... I've seen that road grin before, in the dreams of the forest. Isn't it always said that the stag was a merciful monarch? Well, if there truly is an all-powerful creator, then he abandons us in the deep, dark forest.
Deer are sacred to Yaqui. They are represented in our most revered ceremony of the deer dance. On this object, the seed represents the protective eye of the deer. The granddaughter of the elder who made it chose it for me because she saw the Sonoran sunset and the pattern of the beads and wanted me to bring the desert light to my new home here. It has brought me safely to Ireland. I was delighted to learn that the red deer is revered in Ireland. But we asked you, what is sacred?
Daughter.
Humility.
Respect. Respect. Respect.
Food!
Respect.
Food!
Respect.
Food!
Daughter. Daughter.
Respect.
Daughter.
Humility.
Respect.
Love.
Trust.
Children.
Ancestors.
From the field of tombs to the top of Knocknarea.
Queen Maeve is entombed at the top of the mountain.
She's buried standing up with her sword raised.
I can see the cairn at the very top.
It turns the mountain into the shape of a breast, a mother protecting her people.
I reverently lie down in the tall grass and wildflowers.
Gaze at her folly.
I search for a path up Knocknarea to visit the tomb at the very top and pay my respects.
It's only one of the places it claims to have Queen Maeve's tomb.
Well, there's a car park, so we can't be far.
Knocknarea looks walkable today.
On toss my hammock on the way up.
It's a struggle steeper than it seemed.
Alone, but it's a summer night, practically broad daylight.
Up down like every other tourist. Easy.
No one else is around.
Further than you think, no water, keep going.
Not gonna make it. I sit down on a grass-covered mound and plan the steep climb down with my handbag swinging at my side.
Sheep with horns cover the mountain path.
How you doing?
Am I gonna make it?
Oh, of course you are.
Is it much farther?
No, just around the next slope. Go on. The Queen is waiting for you.
Angels.
Get up.
I almost didn't make it. On my way to the top.
Beauty in every direction.
Water.
The Carmore tombs below.
More mountains.
The tiny speck of a car park down there.
Breathe
in her beauty.
Pay respect to the sacred space.
I make my way down, past wandering sheep, past cows, brush my knuckles on some stinging nettle, break the strap on my handbag.
But you saw.
You honored the elders of this place.
Next day, I leave Sligo and head home through Mayo.
The next day, I leave Sligo and head home through Mayo.
Patrick, pay attention.
It's on the way.
No, I'm looking for older sacred places.
I'm I'm looking for older sacred places.
Older?
St. Patrick climbed this mountain and spent 40 days and 40 nights before coming back down.
I find myself at the foot of the mountain and lay down in the grass to take it in.
Cruigon
Older.
Cruachan Agla.
Older.
Older.
Eagle Peak,
Eagle Peak.
sacred to the first people of this land.
Sacred to the first people of this land.
Eagle Peak.
Cruachan.
There is a sacred mountain that I can see from my son's home in Seattle, Tahoma, a mesmerizing optical illusion that appears walking distance for miles in every direction. She was named by the Stechas.
First people.
She's covered in snow even in the heat of summer.
A mother's breast covered in milk.
Abundance.
Tahoma, mother of all waters, a place the first people held sacred, standing as a beacon of home, even ever shifting the way she does.
This might well be the one, Smith.
Sir, it looks like that, sir.
Strange. The mountain seems to be everywhere at once, no matter where we are.
Shall I record it, sir?
I believe you shall. May we name this extraordinary mountain for my mighty friend from the British Navy, Rear Admiral Peter Rainier.
Night Rainier it is, sir.
Excellent. Let us continue to name these undiscovered lands where no man has ever stood before.
Imagine it, sir. We'll be the first to see everything in this whole new land.
Mother of all waters. She belongs to each of us.
Honoring without claiming.
The generations who follow.
My old Sonoran Desert is home to the Babaduag Mountains. The Spanish colonizers named them the Santa Catalinas, but the Babaduag Mountains are my true north. I couldn't live where there were no mountains. The Sawato Sentinels guide me back home, along with the promise of the calming scent of the creosote bush.
Hi, sorry. Can I just have your attention for 2 seconds? Yeah, it's that handsome young scientist we were talking to earlier. We asked you earlier on if you believe in spirits. So, I have the results for you here now. What? No, that can't be right. So according to this, only 17% of you don't believe in spirits. 83% of you believe in spirits. That's just mad. That's mad. I'm sorry, but we're gonna have to conduct some more tests.
And we're outside to greet the sunrise. Only a select few can be in the inner chamber for the ancient wonder of the lighted room. Not me. I am running to join the enormous circle of those waiting to honor the coming of the light at the break of dawn. I'm the last one there, and I'm afraid to break the circle. I'm afraid to put myself up front where all of the people are looking for the peaking sun.
Something pushing her forward.
I find myself at the very front. The feeling of being an intruder is screaming inside me.
Something pushing her to face the two women in front.
Can I cut in here?
Here is your place.
Freezing. One of the coldest days.
My right hand gets hot. It begins to sweat and I'm ashamed. I slightly pull my hand away to let some air in.
Don't let go of my hand. You see my sister hopping around here to stay warm. Her hand was freezing.
Yes, it is a freezing morning.
Yes, but my hand that held yours felt like it would catch fire.
Yes, so strange. My hand got so hot. You're Irish.
Yeah. Last year was the first year I wasn't here on the winter solstice. I was doing some research in Australia.
Oh, what were you researching?
I'm studying the cultural and magical practices of the Aboriginal people of Australia, compared to the old ways of the people of Ireland.
Incredible.
It is it?
Because I'm here researching the commonalities between Native Americans and Irish.
You know, when he came over and asked to squeeze in, I thought, this is right. She's supposed to be here.
Places of rebirth.
Strengthening.
Strength of the goddess.
Spirit of the old ones.
A cave in our sacred Yaqui Mountains.
The opening is too tiny for us.
Only if your heart is closed and your intentions are evil.
Will we get stuck inside?
I brought an offering for the mother. But if you forget, she won't let you back out.
Uvnagat,
The Cave of Cats.
Otherwise known as Hellmouth.
Well, who do you suppose named it that?
I don't know. Well, I'm not fitting there anyway.
You will.
Lay in a bed with Queen Maeve.
Survive the cats.
Return empowered by the goddess.
Morrigan's realm.
The old ways.
thank you very much for coming. We dedicate our work here to those who were forced to walk the Trail of Tears. That meant leaving behind everything that meant home, losing thousands of loved ones along the way, and still finding room for generosity.
Our work honors the courage of the Irish who suffered 800 years of oppression and still reached out with generosity and remembrance to the First Nations in America. We stand on your ancestral land to tell this tale and ask your blessings for our efforts.
Thank you, beloved audience, for being here to witness this story.
Between the invisible lines
rests a sacred emotion.
Redefining.
Recalibrating reason with art.
Heart language defies all attempts at explanation.
Presentation.
The brain does not know how.
But it is the seat of knowing.
Without reason.
a kind of magic, soft love.
Between best friends.
The heart knows everything.
Sees everything.
The brain does not.
These are the stories of the lost souls. These are the stories of the lost souls. These are the stories of the lost souls. These are the stories of the lost souls.